destination. For today, you didn't want to stay around the hotel. You just want to make a, tour trip like this today. You are warm welcome. Today, you travel through the northern part of the Gambia.
Yes.
This is the North Bank division of the Gambia. The river divides the country into two halves, the northern half and the southern half. On the northern half today, you reach to visit two villages called Jufre and Albreda. Jufre and Albreda. So Jufre is the home village of KINTE. That's the village where he was, taken away to slavery. So Albreda is another village, okay, attached with Jufre, okay. But the two villages are Mandinko by tribe. You know, in the Gambia we have 8 to 9 tribes, but Mandinko tribes are the founders of the two villages. And they are the settlers first, okay. So these two villages, during the transatlantic slave trade, the first Europeans began to, follow up the river Gambia for slave trading was the Portuguese nationalities. In 1456, a man had visto Cadamosto Ozereme with their crews patrolling over the west coast of Africa until they reached to detect the river Senegambia. Following through the river Gambia in 1456, when they detect that fort, basically that was the fort where they settled. When they settled on that fort, exactly there, from there they start to come in land. So when they reach on the mainland, this were the first villages that they come into. So when they reach here, according to history, they start to know how best they could be coping with the people just in the trade. But according to the history, they found most of the men or most of the people were enemies. Enemies in no religion, okay? So there they built a chapel, which is a very, very small church. When they build the chapel, they normally introduce Christianity to the locals. Every end of week on Sundays, they will come from the island, then they come down on the mainland. They go straight to the chapel, then they see the black leaders. If they could bring men for those who are interested to be religious, so that they can give Christian religion introductions to them, okay? So that, in the later future, it could be very fine for them to be mingling and know about the mainland. So that was the, start of the system of, getting men in those days in 1456. Okay, so but still slave trading when it was being continued by them. In later, it was that other nationalities were coming over. Like if you can know about the Dutch. So in 1456, the Dutch, when they found the Portuguese on the fort, so they know the need of the fort like them, but it was very tough. So after the Dutch, they came to bombard the fort on them. So when the Dutch bombarded the Portuguese, one of their sailors died, who was called Andrew. So when Andrew died, then the island was named after him, St. Andrew's Island. So when the island was named after St. Andrew's Island, so still the Portuguese were getting control of it. Okay, but later it went up to a time the Portuguese, they can't perform, taking control of that port because it's lots of pull and pulling. So there, it become that they have to make a great trade. So that's the time they start to, brought stuffs like mirrors, alcohol, tobacco. When after they went back to Portugal, okay, So, but according to the history, it was still in an interest for the Germans, the Baltic Germans.
The Germans?
The Germans, Baltic Germans, in the 1661. When they go up to a time, they also want to establish that fort. So they found the fort being occupied by the Portuguese, but still they came back in the King of Nyomi here. Okay, so when they came to the king, then they bought the fort from the King of Nyomi. So when they bought the fort, they found the Portuguese. Now they took the fort. Then there they construct the first fort. So when they construct the first fort, so there the Germans also still, they know the accessibility is there to build the fort, but they cannot have much more facilities to work on the trade. Okay, so still it was also been, it was also a very, very detective river, the River Gambia, when after the British were since been coming over, but they passed through to go away. Okay, but later they know the people were finding interest on that fort. So in 1661, the British, they keep patrolling coming. So when they came, they found the fort. The Germans has constructed the first fort. So they went back to the King of Bara, okay, For the Germans, they came to the King of Nyomi, but for the British, they went to the King of Bara. The King of Bara, by the time, he was the highest of all the kings in the area. Okay, so they bought the fort from him. So when they bought the fort, now they come and seize it from the Germans. They start the highest system of the trade. Okay, from 1661 up to a time in 1681. The French, by the time also, they were occupying Senegal. So when they occupied Senegal, they were still coming over. Okay, they want to establish trade on that fort, but they cannot have access on that fort because they found the British been taking over that fort. So when they take it, when they cannot have chance. The French, they came back to the mainland here. They see with the village chief. When they, discuss with him, the village chief allocate land for them. So when he allocate land for them, so the land, the French can't do nothing, only to establish trade on that land. So there they built a story building in it. Okay, that was a story building that you can see. They built it in 1681. So when they built it in 1681, whenever they went to France, they normally brought mules, alcohol, tobacco, gunpowder, ivories. When they come, they just store it in there. So there they start to see the black leaders. If they are interested in those stuffs, they can making some trading, okay, changes. If they give them mens, they give them, those stuffs in that building. So it was like that until later on, when there was a time in 1807 when the British, realized that, new system has to be, introduced, okay? Yeah, other than human labor. You know, the human labor, what the man can work, okay? Maybe if you perform to bring out something, could be more than that, okay? Then you can introduce that. So that was the time the idea came. They introduced machines in 1807. So when they introduced machines, so there, it become that, they have to drop the human labor. So now the British, they say abolition of slave trade in 1807. So, but still it doesn't stop. Slave trading was going on. So it went up to 1810. So there, the British says now, over West Africa, okay, people, slave traders are following voyages with their ship cargoes, getting men, transporting them, smugglers, slaves are working. So in that, they have to make it illegal in 1810. So that was the time they brought this cannon. As you can see, this cannon, it was mounted there in 1810. So when they mounted just to stop the slave traffickers, no ships can be coming in or going out with slaves. Okay, so whoever any ship is shown, they're going to be intercepted with that cannon. So still, the remaining amount of men on the island in 1810, when they knew what is happening, slave trading is now finished, coming to be finished. Okay, so the few slaves, they demanded freedom from their masters. So they told the masters they want to be free. Let the master brought them back on the mainland. So the masters told them that no, they can try by themselves if they could swim to cross the river. When they reach in Albreda here, they will be placing a pole, and that pole is going to be a wooden one, a wood one. So that wood one now today we cannot see it, but we can see the replica of it. If you can see that pole with the flag, okay? So it's at a position where the first pole was being located, okay? So if these slaves can be touching that pole, then they can be free, then they go, okay, they are free. But none of them could make it. All of them drowned in the water. No one could make it, okay? So I thank you very much.
That's right.
Yeah, so we need to stop here, then we go straight to the harbor, then to the island. So this statue is saying about never again. Never again is slavery, okay? Black and white, between black and white, although the colors are not the same, but or the blood is the same, okay? So
never again.
Yeah. So also you can see there are tattoos on the chest. You can see also with the cut chains, okay? And also the head, global, all over the world. Slavery never again, okay? I thank you very much for your listening. You understand?
Thank you. I understood everything.
Okay.
And otherwise I could listen it back.
Yeah.